So my name's Tyler Weiss. Well, I say Weiss. My dad says Weiss. But we're the same relation. I'm an artist, or I was. I drew all my life, and then I decided to give it up one day. This is a kind of chaotic, leap back into it. This is a bunch of different things that kind of came up into this, whatever this is. I had no final product in mind for any of these things. It was sort of a thoughtless experiment, between textures. It was this is a guitar and a bass, and sort of my interpretation on it. I swear no drugs were involved. But it was a new, I guess, playground for me, because I would usually draw things from either my imagination or other pictures of things that I saw. And this, for this, I just started drawing big zigzaggy lines, and I kind of filled in the blanks, the blank spaces in between. I would end up with these things, and I would try to have to make sense out of them as I went along. This was, I had no idea what these things were going to turn into. This was a big half circle and another big half circle and a bunch of perpendicular lines. And I started shading. These were all pen and no pencil. Usually I would just draw. Can everybody hear that better? Okay. So this is like I said, the more traditional one, where I would take a picture, draw from it, and then fill in blanks, trace it with the pen, and erase the pencil like the pencil wasn't even there. But trying to add stuff. But the whole thing, like this is a classic example. I don't like this one just because I don't know what it is. I kind of look at it and it looks like a bunch of different things, but I don't know if it adds up to anything. But it's the process that I've been sticking with. Once you kind of give up something and you kind of forsake it and come back to it, it's when you come back to something you've done before, it's a whole new thing. This was the beginning of my breakthrough. I started drawing randomness. I was frustrated. You can see I tore out pages from the notebook of all my discarded. I hate this. This is going nowhere. And I kind of came up with this. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And I ended up with this. I kind of like the vibe that I got from it. The shading and stuff sort of came together. This is all with the ballpoint pen. So you too can, do stuff like this. I have kind of my dad's an architect, so I don't know if that lends it to like an insane attention to detail, but that's kind of what ends up happening. These are all in a notebook that's like 4 by 6 inches. This is usually how most of these things start out. I'm going to walk over here and mix things up. I'm going to just draw a bunch of doodles, lines that don't really mean anything, and I have to make sense out of it. And along the way, I come up with something like this. I also don't like this one, but you can take it or leave it. Some people might be that's my favorite drawing I've ever seen, but these are all more of like experiments, personal experiments. It's sort of like a growth as opposed to, how many people here have tried to draw something? Raise your hand. That's all I do. I don't, this sort of, you can start to see patterns that I do. Now, how many people have, and everybody can raise their hand with this, I know already, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How many people have tried to draw something and just become totally frustrated with it? Yeah. And that's what, at least half of these drawings is just pure frustration. The drawing on the left was one page of it, and I drew it and I said, this is so stupid, I'm not going to do anything with this. So I just kept at it, kept making it more stupid, and then I stuck with the story theme, and then I kind of filled in 2 pages unexpectedly, and I had, sort of just mismatched thing. I started shading, and this is what happened, and it's one of my favorite drawings now in the book that I'm working on. I finished it, and then I went to sleep, and I dreamed I was all, in a parking garage, and all the levels were real swirly, and it was like, a lot of hills and ups and downs, and this stuff affects you. This was one classic example of what I'm talking about. I drew something, the purple is I used a purple marker on the backside of this page. I drew some stupid city landscape or something, I don't know. But I turned it around and I started doing the black pen, and I kind of ended up with this. It kind of reminds me of Night of Bald Mountain or something like that. So, and this is the I guess the classic example. I started drawing this. I got real intrigued with just the outline part of it, and I'm saying, oh, this will be It's so much fun to fill in the blanks. And I did that, and I absolutely hate it. I think it's much nonsense. You know, which I'm not trying to be like Mr. Artiste or anything, but that's how I feel. This one was a result following the frustration. I did this, and whether you guys like it or not, I enjoy it. I look at it, and that's what I see. I sort of went for like a face with the nose and a kind of eye and a mouth. I don't know if anybody else can see that type of stuff, but you know, it was. This is what I like is the result of the frustration. That's what being an artist is almost all about. And this was one of the second ones after I did that kind of Joker face that I like the vibe of. This was kind of another one where I had no idea in mind. I started drawing stuff, and I kind of have to. I make a mistake, something usually halfway along the process that I don't like, and then I just kind of keep running with it because it's in pen you can't erase, so it adds a new angle to it. And this one I got, a guy's face being wrapped in, I'll say, trees, Saturn rings around it. I don't know what the heck it's, it's not going anywhere, but that's the point. It's just that, like following the, these are some projects I'm working on, I guess, filling my time. We got a creepy looking face on the left. In the middle was the one I actually drew at the last PechaKucha that was at in Norfolk or Hampton. And I brought my sketchbook along, and I ended up with that by the end of the night. And this is sort of another classic example of I'm going to take some lines and I'm going to see what I can do with them. This actually loses a little bit in translation between the shading and stuff, but I'm not even finished with the one on the right. I still want to do a little bit more, but half of these is knowing when to say when, but never say when.